Hello and welcome to TM3 Life. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be talking CyberTruck. Okay, so what about the CyberTruck? The last time we talked in my last video, which I'll link up here, we talked about how I had an estimated delivery date of December 23rd of this year. So, I mean, we're talking, 9 months away. Very exciting, but even when I mentioned it then in my last video, Elon had tweeted that, it would likely be pushed off and all that. And so I kept checking and see if it had pushed off. And recently I checked again. And by checking, where am I checking? I'm actually checking on the CyberTruck Owners Club. They have a really decent detailed spreadsheet there, which does a pretty good job of keeping track of where you are online based on your reservation. So I checked again. I had been pushed back to January 23rd of 2022. And that's fine with me. So waiting 2 years or a little bit more than 2 years, not really a big deal for the CyberTruck. So still very excited for it. But let's talk a little bit more detail about the CyberTruck. Let's talk about why they are putting in an 8,000 ton casting machine in Austin, Texas at the Gigapress facility. Now, when I say 8,000 ton, I do mean 8,000 ton. Now, not like 8,000 pound, 8,000 ton. And when I say 8,000 ton, that doesn't mean the machine weighs 8,000 tons. That means it has 8,000 tons of clamping force. And essentially what they're doing is they're casting, right? They're die casting, just like they do for the Model Y. And the Model Y casting machine does 6,000 tons of clamping force. And the truck is going to be 8,000 pound machine. 8,000 ton. Geez, I keep switching back and forth. Sorry, don't mean to make it confusing for you guys. So try to keep up. 8,000 ton clamping force die cast machine. It's not a stamping machine. But they're calling it a Gigapress, right? Essentially, what it's doing is holding together these materials while they inject it and fill it with molten aluminum, and it needs to fill every crack and crevice. So when it opens up, the robot goes in, picks out the piece, and it's all one piece as opposed to multiple pieces being put together with rivets and different types of welds and glues, adhesives, things like that. It really just cuts down on the amount of pieces, which cuts down on complexity, which cuts down on cost and brings up the efficiency of how quickly you can create these vehicles. Now, as we know, the Cybertruck has an exoskeleton. So what are they pressing? What do they need to be building for the Cybertruck? We know that that Cybertruck's going to come with the 4680 battery cell, which is a new battery cell. That's going to be a structural piece of the truck. So the battery pack is going to be essentially a frame, where right now in the vehicles that we're driving around in now from Tesla, the battery pack is essentially just a case that is carrying around a bunch of batteries. What's going to happen is these new form factor batteries are going to be the structure, so it won't be carrying around anything. That's literally going to be the structure of the bottom section frame, the middle frame of the truck. So what are they casting? Well, likely they're casting at a minimum the rear subassembly of the truck. And why would they cast that when the truck has an exoskeleton and essentially the skeleton is the frame? Well, if you think back to when this truck was released, it has a 3,500 pound payload capacity. So in order for the truck to be able to have that kind of payload capacity and towing capacity of 14,000 pounds, for the tri-motor version, which is the version that I've ordered, you're going to need a substantial subassembly underneath that exoskeleton frame. And I believe that's what this 8,000 ton Gigapress is going to be used for. I think, and this is just a hypothesis that I have, that's what it's going to be. It's going to create this subassembly for the Cybertruck in order to give it that ability to have the payload capacity. Because if you look back at all the ones that are offered, the 2-wheel drive, the regular 2-motor, and then the tri-motor versions of the truck. So you're starting anywhere from, you know, $50,000 to $70,000, you know, variants of these trucks. And that's, of course, without full self-driving or anything like that, or any options that currently we don't know about. Each one of those trucks has the same payload capacity of 3,500 pounds. It's the towing capacity that's changing, and that's based on the electric motors that are on the truck. Obviously, with 1 motor, you have less towing capacity. 2 motors, a little more. Tri-motors, you're going to have the max towing capacity, and that's where you get the 14,000 pound towing capacity. So I think that's what's going on. It's really exciting. I believe they already have the structure in place at Giga Texas Austin facility, where the 8,000 ton Gigapress is going to set, because obviously there's going to be concrete forms and stuff at the sun, and it is a heavy machine. It's going to be quite the interesting machine. And as far as the body goes, I mean, literally we're looking at a lot of straight panels, fold, bend, you know. I'm really hoping they do a good job. There's 2 options that I'm leaning towards as far as taking delivery of my Cybertruck. I'm going to do one of 2 things. I'm either going to have it delivered to my home, and that's something, home delivery is something that is offered to customers who are outside the range of a service center. If you are more, I think more than 160 or 180 miles away from the closest service center, you can have your vehicle delivered to your home. And I am. So that's how I got my Tesla Model 3 delivered to my home. And I do have a home delivery. I'll link that video up here if you haven't seen it. It was quite the experience. So that would be really cool. I'll do that. Or if I can work it out, I think something that would be even more awesome, especially for the channel and you guys, would be to go to Texas, fly down, check out the factory, do a tour, and then drive the Cybertruck home from Texas to Vermont. As you guys know, I've done an entire trip around the whole United States in my Model 3. When I first got it, driving the truck from Texas to Vermont is a really small road trip in comparison. And with the Cybertruck of having a range of 500 plus miles on a charge, well, I'll be stopping a heck of a lot less. So all that said, still very excited. Comment down below. Let me know if, you know, this is something that you think I'm right about in regards to the Gigapress and what they're going to use that casting machine for. If you think it's going to be for that subassembly in the rear in order to be able to handle that payload. Let me know if you think my estimated delivery date is going to be bumped again. Again, we're talking Elon time. We all know that, or what was it? You know, Elon Standard Time. It's always a little different than everywhere else in the world, right? I mean, he means well, but he tends to overpromise on dates. So I'm really excited about it. I want to make sure that I'm going to take the truck no matter what. So if there's a panel on it that's screwed up, we're taking it that way, because we're going to be documenting every step of the way on this truck, the build quality, the reliability, and all that, especially to take a very early build of something. I know when the Model 3s were first done, there was a lot of things that were a little wrong. They changed the seats, they upgraded this, they did a lot of things because it just wasn't up to snuff. I think they've learned a lot now, but again, the build of this truck is going to be completely different than anything they've ever done. So there's obviously the possibility of error and mistakes and changes and tweaks that are going to need to be made. But I want, this is the very first one that I can possibly get. I want to put it through its paces. So anyway, just a little update on how things are going. I hope you guys are doing great. For now, what I'd really like you guys to do, I've been looking at some analytics on the channel. I'm not quite at the point where this channel is making me any money yet. So in order to do that, I need subscribers. I need 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. I think we're about 9 or 10 away at this point. And remember, once we hit the 1,000 subscribers, I got some gifts that are going to be going out to 2 of you lucky 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe. I'll be starting a new channel soon called iFly. And that's going to be about my new endeavors of getting my pilot's license. So if you're interested in aviation or anything like that, you'll be able to subscribe to that channel as well. But until then, let's keep those batteries charged, folks.